I had to make sure we are live. Welcome. Another day, another tech day live. I'm your host, the Duke Dev, or the Duke. Today, I actually wanted to finish. Oh, this will be a surprise. We'll do this later. I wanted to finish what we started with the Kafka setup. I realized that maybe it's not the best thing, so to say, to do, especially if my plan is to build up on my already existing skills, work on them, improve them in order to find, in order to be more employable. But, especially skipping so many steps in order to immediately jump into Kafka. But I think it's a good tiny course of sorts. All right. So what happened last time, if I remember correctly, was the following. I installed a Docker image of, and it was quite a process, not gonna lie. So what I did is, this is a Docker image. It's running Confluent, and now I want to see whether let's see if I have topics. Confluent, Kafka topic list. I should have your session has timed out. This makes sense because I did this a couple of days ago and my computer just stayed here. So let me do Confluent login. Confluent login. But at the same time, I want to log in without the browser. Okay, navigate to the following link to the browser to authenticate. I got a link here, and I will just authenticate myself, and then we will do this all again. Okay, copy and paste the following token in the terminal. I love the fact that free credits 385 US dollars remaining. All right, 385. Yesterday I had like $400. They are draining me fast. Okay, let's see my topics. Confluent, Kafka topic list. All right, this is our thermostat reading topic, and then Confluent, Kafka topic, consume from beginning thermo. Is the autocomplete working? It's not thermostat readings. Telemetry client instance ID changed from something to something else. Interesting. Let me just open in another tab, in another window. I want to open my cluster to see how fast. There's no way I spend like, I got like $40, no, 420 bucks for free. And now it's basically all drained. Where is it? How do I see it? Cluster 0. I don't need this yet. How much money has it drained? No, last 24 days. How can I see how much money it? No, I don't want to set up anything. Yeah, so these are the messages we sent. That's okay. The thing that I have a problem, I don't have a problem with, I'm just interested to see what is happening here. Is the fact that I sent only these 4 messages, and for some reason, Kafka or Confluent already jerked like $40 from me, which yeah, it's a bit. Wait, let me ask ChatGPT. How is billing working with Kafka Confluence? I signed up for a free tier, getting 420. Yeah, $420. $420, and I created 4 messages, and 2 days later I have $380, which seems like a lot of money, especially compared to, I don't know what ChatGPT is charging you, and other LLMs are charging you for their searches. But let's wait. Which seems for a lot of money for not. How is billing behaving? And where can I check it? All right. Let me. In the meantime, while this is building and responding, so these are our messages. And here it says from beginning flag tells the consumer to start from the earliest known offset on the topic, the earliest message. Leave the terminal window open to observe new messages. So most probably I could now, if I send another one, let me try to do this. Thermostat reading. Can I do another one? Can I do another one? Can I do another one? Actions, produce new message. All right. I'm gonna copy this one. Or maybe I'll copy the kitchen. Let me just see how they read that. So yeah, it's the same thing. 42 kitchen temperature, everything is there. I'm just gonna change the temperature to, I don't know, 24. Produce, and I should get, yeah, here it is. I should get a new message there. But how is billing working? This is what I'm interested in. When you sign up, you typically get free credits, around $400. I got these to use across the services in Confluent Cloud. All right. Billing is user-based, which means you pay for the resources you consume, like storage, data in out, cluster hours, connectors, etc. Costs accrue hourly. Even for portions of an hour, there is often a minimum of an hour's charge for certain resources. If resources are left running, like clusters, connectors, all right. So most probably I'll left them running. I should have killed them. Yeah. So why my credits have been drained even with only a few messages being sent? So if a cluster is being kept alive, there are baseline costs like CPU, storage availability, replication, even if message volume is small. Yeah, makes sense. They didn't pull more money out of me, to be honest. Makes sense. What I wanted to do now. No, come back. Where's my terminal? It's here. Storage. All right. So let's see where I can check what I've been charged for. If I go here, where is billing and payment? Billing and payment. Makes sense. Let me move this. Let me move this here. So basically, it takes around 80 cents per hour. I haven't streamed since I think 2 days, so it's like 48 hours. 48 multiplied by 80 cents. What's that? 48 multiplied by 40 cents. No, 48 multiplied by 80 cents. It's around 38 bucks, which makes sense. It makes sense that they charge this much. All right. Now we solved this pretty confusing question. What I want to do now is continue with the guide here. So these are all of our topics. All right. In a new terminal window, produce more messages. In the new terminal window, but this one is gonna open my Docker window. How can I open a new terminal window from this? New window? No. Actually, I don't need to produce from a new terminal window. I can produce it from the dashboard here. I actually already did produce. And what happened is I got these new messages in our consumer terminal window. What I can do is here says go to Confluent Cloud UI, navigate to the thermostat reading topic and open the messages. Let's see this. Open the messages. Yeah, here they are. Here they are. These are the messages. These ones were sent on the 14th. This one has been sent on the 19th. And as I said, makes sense. It makes sense that they charge me 40 bucks because this has been up and running for how many now? 2 days and 5 hours. Makes sense. Makes sense. I was already on another tab. I was contacting the customer service saying, bitches, give me back my money. Monitor. I don't care about this. All right. That's it. So what's next? So what else do we have? Reading and reacting to event streams. Okay. Reading and reacting to event streams. Let's see what we have here. Oh yeah, I also have my tablet running. By the way, I got new titanium pen tips. So no more plastic ones. No more bending. No more. I hope, I don't know, they said they are titanium. So I hope I won't, my tips won't be, what's the name? Reduced by use. So hopefully these guys could last me a long time. If one of them lasts me for 3 months, I would be happy. All right, let's continue here. In Apache Kafka, consumers are the client apps responsible for reading data from Kafka topics. While producers write data into topics, consumers retrieve it, process it, and often send it onward for additional processing or storage. Any application that pulls data from Kafka, whether for analytics, database updates, or real-time processing, is a consumer. Makes sense. This is just the corporate mumbo-jumbo talk for saying on one side you have whatever creates, on another side you have whatever takes that what has been created and uses it. You buy bread, you fucking eat it. That's the logic behind it. And yeah, they took one whole paragraph consisting of at least 100 words in order to explain this. But in order to connect to a Kafka cluster, so all right, so this is a way to use this to connect to this. Consumers use the Kafka Consumer API. Configuration similar to producers, requiring properties like bootstrap servers and group ID. Bootstrap servers are a list of broker addresses to connect to. This does not need to be exhaustive, just enough for the consumer to discover the rest of the cluster. Group ID, a unique identifier for the consumer group. More on this in the next section. Am I? All right, I am. Am I streaming? That was my question. Once configured, the consumer subscribes to one or more topics. Again, the usual behavior when it comes to event-driven behavior in IT. You plop something out, there's a hand. They're just waiting for whatever you plopped to grab it, and that's it. You can even use a regular expression to subscribe to multiple topics dynamically. After subscribing, the consumer enters an infinite loop, continuously polling for new messages. Yeah, this is normal. All right. When polling, the consumer fetches consumer records which contain key value, partition, timestamps, and headers. Here's an example of code. Okay. How many of these do we have? There's also a hands-on exercise for the Kafka consumer, which is great. I don't need to set any of these. I don't need to set anything up for this. Just a second. Confluence. Okay, basically, let me just write this as well. Let us write this. No. So a consumer. Any application that reads messages from the Kafka topics. That's it. Any app that reads messages from the Kafka topic. Producers write events, consumers read them. That's it. They can then process them like any other form of data. Process them, maybe save them to the database, trigger them, send them to another service, or just log them. That's it. Just a second, let me get some water. I'm getting dry. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Are we running? Are we working? Are we hearing each other? We are. Oops. We are. So where did I stop? Yeah. So consumer, any app that treats messages from the Kafka topic. That's it. Now the consumer can process these events and do a lot of other things. But let's skip this for now. Like, we can write them to a database. We can trigger actions. We can send them to another service. We can log them. That's not important. But so how can we connect to a consumer? Because the consumers use the Kafka Consumer API. So consumers use Kafka Consumer API. There are two configs, bootstrap.service and group.id. Do I need this? Yeah, let's maybe write them. Bootstrap.servers and group.id. So once we are configured, the consumer will subscribe to one or more topics. Then it will enter an infinite loop to poll for messages. For example, this is an example for Java code. Again, we load the config. We have our own properties. We create a consumer object from the config. Then we subscribe, and so we enter an infinite loop. While the infinite loop is true, we get our records. This line of code here is asking the broker for new messages, and each message comes as a consumer record, and it has a key value, partition, timestamp, headers, and all the other jazz. Now, if you remember, I remember this in the last episode when we talked about Kafka. Kafka assigns each message an offset, which is the position in the log, and consumers track which offset they processed, and they often commit the consumer's commit offset back to Kafka. So if a consumer crashes, it resumes from the last committed offset. So what else? Oh, okay. Let's see how parallelism works. So let's say we have a consumer group which consists of, again, my lines are wildly wildly no, what's inside of this? So like this and like this and like this. All right, this is good enough. Let's say we have a consumer group, which are multiple consumers that share the work, and within a group, each partition is set by only one consumer, which Kafka automatically assigns partitions to the consumers. So our thermostat readings has 3 partitions. I think I wrote this somewhere. Yeah, here it has 3 partitions. And if I have 3 consumers here, I can create new boxes for this specifically. If I have consumer A, if I then have consumer B, and if I have consumer CC, all right, consumer A would read partition 0, consumer B would read partition 1, and consumer C would read partition 2. And that's the magic of it. If we had a 4th consumer, one of them would sit idle. So if I add CD, consumer D, one of them would sit idle because, we have 3 partitions and only allow 3 active consumers. But if one consumer fails, this partition gets reassigned automatically to others. Nice. Where are we now? In our quiz. Okay, Kafka consumers. Set up and run your first Kafka consumer. In practice, programmatically producing and consuming messages is an essential way to interact with your Apache Kafka cluster and put data into motion. The first exercise of this course, you gain experience consuming from and producing to a Kafka topic using the command line. All right. So let's explore a more programmatic way of consuming messages by writing a Kafka consumer in Python. All right. We recommend following these exercises in order to ensure you have everything you need to successfully complete the exercise. If you haven't already set up your CLI to connect to your Confluent Cloud cluster, check out the first exercise to get up to speed. I did. I used a Docker image. So now, what do I need? I need Python 3 and pip. Where's my terminal? All right, we are running. Can I close this? I am. Okay. Bum 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 bum. Wait. So, in order to add a Kafka consumer inside the same container, what I need to do? I need to update my Docker file, right? Do I even have my Docker file here? ls code. Okay, let me just create a new file here. I'm gonna call it Docker file. Do you want to install the... do I need this? Yeah, let's install it. Container tools. Learn about Docker and the container tools extension from Visual Studio Code. But by the way, I'm a complete beginner, a complete noob when it comes to anything, when it comes to containerization. So if I make any mistakes, please forgive me. I don't care about this, brother. I don't care. I just want. Let me increase the size of this. All right. From. What is the name? Confluence. These are automatically updated as I write it. Nice. Confluence. Wait. Let me make sure I initially downloaded the right image. Confluence. PS. Permission denied while trying to connect to Docker daemon. But do I need to run sudo? Why? Oh, okay. So this is Confluent CLI latest. Confluent CLI latest. What do I need to do here? I need to install, because I want to only run Confluent commands here. I need to run. I need to create my Python app as well. So what I need to install. I need to update everything and get install Python 3 pip, Python 3 venv. What else do I need? And pip3 will install Confluent Kafka. All right, no. Let's create a work directory for our Kafka consumer. I'm gonna call it app. Let's copy our consumer py config in a app. But wait, I don't need this, man. Wait. I'm an idiot. I'm literally a dumb idiot. What I need to do is I need just to set an environment here. Make directory Kafka 101 consumers, and let me move to Kafka 101 consumers. I need to set a virtual environment. I need to act. I took some time. Source. Let me activate this virtual environment, and now pip install Confluent Kafka. I can remove this once I don't need it anymore. Okay, so this has been installed. This has been installed. For anyone joining and wondering what I'm doing, we were working with Kafka a lot in our day-to-day work in our company. So I wanted to refresh myself by doing like a smaller scale project on Kafka, producing a couple of, learning what Kafka is first of all, producing a couple of messages, setting everything up, then creating a consumer that's going to read those messages. Again, if you are new here, I'm almost probably, I did this for 3 episodes already on Kafka. What I'll do most probably is I'm going to cut them and stitch them together, so I will have a full video on Kafka ready, in which I go from zero to you know what I'm doing now. Not that I'm doing anything overly complex. It's just entry level Kafka knowledge. All right. I don't care about that. Let me do the terminal cluster endpoint. Run the following command. Confluent, Kafka cluster describe. Your session has timed out. Again. Oh, it's draining my money. Confluent Kafka cluster describe. So wait just a second. Okay, in the output, locate the endpoint field nodes, the hostname and port. Ignore the SSL part. All right. And I need an API key in order to proceed. If you need a new one, I think I already have an API key somewhere. Okay, let me just create this config in. I don't need a Docker file because I'm gonna move this to the Kafka 101 consumers. All right, I'm just gonna fill this in off screen because I'm gonna most probably need to put some sensitive data in here. So let's do this. Let's start. Bootstrap servers is the endpoint. And where do I get the endpoint? From here. From here. And what do I do with the ignore the SSL part? So it's only this part, right? All right. Security protocol. Where are you? SASL. This mechanism is plain. API key, API secret. I have it somewhere. API key. API secret. I mean, even if someone sees my key and secret, I don't care. I just bought I didn't even buy it. I got a free $400 plan, so I don't care if any consumer. So there's this group ID. Okay, we are done with this. Let me create another file, but this one is going to be consumer.py. And the consumer py will contain this whole snippet here. And now, are we ready? Are we ready to see if this works? Okay, I need to make this executable. I made it executable, and now let's run it. Consumer py config in. It works out of the box, first time. I'm extremely surprised. Usually the shit I build and create doesn't work out of the box. I need to spend at least 30 minutes of here pulling debugging. But this guy worked instantly. Okay. This is amazing. I'm just gonna move this around. So it looks more cool. So it looks more cool. All right. What else? First, let me just see what the code here does. It should be relatively simple. All right, so it builds up. Okay, this is the only part where it uses Confluent Kafka. If we are in main, we parse the command line. All right, so we pull the config ID from the command line. Then the config parser. All right, so the config parser is, we are still in the config territory here. Yeah, create a config parser. Sorry, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? It's here. Doesn't matter. Create. Where are you? Create a config parser. So this is most probably the section, and I'm pulling it, and I'm pulling the config from this section here. Cool. Default. Okay, so it just creates a new config, and then we have the topic here. We subscribe to this topic. While it's true, I'm polling this dude, If we don't have any messages, we are printing waiting. If we have errors, all right, we print out the error. Otherwise, that's it. Confluence schema X3, and then hands-on exercise Confluence schema X3. So there's a lot of exercises which I would want to do. So viewing this content requires you to accept the cookie, but I can see it without accepting it. I mean, I can just clean the cookies. Oh, okay. Let's do a quick break. And by quick break, let's see what's new in the world of IT tech. So I have hacker news. Also, I like to visit G. I think G has the finger. Oh, my mic is away from me. G has the finger on the pulse when it comes to IT. So there's an amazing discussion on G on two-factor authentication. So someone is saying, I fucking hate this shit so much. Everyone else is a R word. If people are R word, you have to be punished. You lose your phone stolen, no phone, don't want a phone. No, sorry, you cannot access the 5 websites everyone uses on the internet anymore. Actually, this is funny. This is really funny. Because I always had my fair share of criticisms, even though I never verbally acknowledged them towards 2FAs. Because for me, this is just a way, as this Anon here says, to make these kinds of people be more at ease when it comes to their dumb decisions of protecting themselves. I still use 2FA everywhere, like my channel, my banking profiles, even my gym profile. I'm using 2FA everywhere. The problem is, I don't know, it's too invasive. Anyone ever standing for this practice, defending it or whatever, deserves a punch in the face for being a data mined kettle R word. Alright. Can I even say this word? I don't want to say it. It's a bit insulting. You can get a browser plugin R word. Alright. That's even stupider. Stupider? Is this even a word? You don't need one password. You need two passwords, both accessible from the same device. The whole system's also, those plugins are okay. You just found an exploit for the shitty system. System's still shitty. R word. A browser plugin for what? Is there a browser plugin for 2FAs? So you don't even need a phone. Skill issue. Set up 2-step, 10-minute mail, temporary numbers. This doesn't make sense. So what? You need to set up 2FA, but you're gonna use a temporary number to set up 2FA. What is this one? What is this link saying? Two-step login method. To increase account security, Bitwarden will... Can I increase this a bit? To increase account security, Bitwarden will begin to require additional verification for users who do not use two-step login when logging into your account from a new device. You might have received an email and product notification. How to set two-step login? It works, but require authentication from another source when you log in. What is Bitwarden, first of all? I have no idea what Bitwarden is. Ah, it's a password manager. The best password manager is a notepad. A notepad you keep right next to your laptop on your workstation. So if someone breaks into your home, they know where to find everything. I'm not using a notepad, by the way. Or am I? Okay, I think one of the funniest 2FA things happened to me a few months ago when Bitwarden started sending a confirmation email when logging in on a new device. Because I didn't have access to the old device, and because the email passwords and TOTP were on Bitwarden, with both accounts being tied to a 2FA method that requires the other to be accessed, I was fucked. What? Here's the problem, my pal. You need to have access to your old device. How the fuck did you get out of it? It was a work account. I had a tchdy set the authentication methods. All right. The easiest way. Keep your old phone for that unless your current phone is already rusty. Yeah, I think you should have an extra device. You should have an extra device, an old device. A home device that you plug in once a month. Just in case. Just in case. You keep it in the old shoebox. In the places no one will check ever. I think this is actually a really, really good idea. My light bulb app has 2FA for fucking light bulbs. Why? My work requires texting you a code to log in now. Building is Faradayed for security. At home I have 2 emails. Each has each other's as backup email, which is mandatory now too for some reason. Both decided within a week of each other to require a confirmation code email to backup address to log in on the web from an unfamiliar device. Fucked me big time until I realized I could tunnel a session from home. But pretty fucking annoying. Since people are retards, you have to be... I said it, I said the word, I didn't want to say the word. I'm sorry, I was just reading this. You can be the most tech literate person ever and still get your account compromised by a... Alright, I won't read this word. Credential stuffing bot that gets data from a password breach or some other... This makes sense, actually. 2FA is not entirely your evil itself, perhaps, but you should realize you're just being their propaganda mouthpiece for data mining right now. If the tech is good, stands on its own, it doesn't need you or I to defend it. Makes sense. Just self-host vault for them. Cool. Let me close this. Let me do something else. Let me do something else. Let me do something else. Unrelated to Kafka. I will continue the Kafka work, but I want to do this. Okay. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me change this as well. Bum. 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 Cyber. I want to update my wallpaper. I love this. It was a nostalgia trip, this GTA San Andreas one, but I want something new. I think I'm gonna do a cyberpunk one next. But now let's just finish this Confluent schema registry section, and then I'm gonna do all of that. In Apache Kafka, data is produced and consumed as messages with structured format called schemas. This is just overly obtuse tech documentation. You can explain this better for idiots such as myself by using simple wording. Like Wikipedia has, it has simple English. Do simple documentation from now on, please. They are idiots. I'm an idiot. As more consumers start reading from topics, sometimes read by different team, it's crucial that they understand the scheme of the data they're receiving. Okay, all right. Schemas involved and new versions are introduced. To manage the changes seamlessly and prevent breaking consumers, Kafka relies on the Confluent schema registry. Now, when you think about this, when you step away from whatever has been said here, and you think about this in a more bird's view kind of perspective, it makes sense. It makes sense. This data we are sending with Kafka is not constant. It can evolve, and it's also event-driven. So we need to create a way to standardize this data, so to say. They most probably, yeah, and most probably this whole step will talk about this. Oh, we need to. Data is being. Please take a look at our Confluent schema registry, which is just a buzzword for saying this is how we standardize data. The schema registry is a standalone server that stores and manages schemas for Kafka topics. It's not part of the Apache Kafka itself, but it's finally adopted as a community licensed component by Confluent. Kafka, it just looks like another application Producing and consuming. Oh yeah, all right. So you have another man in the middle. You have another man in the middle now. But its purpose is specific. It maintains a database of schemas for topics it monitors. Okay. This database is internally stored in a Kafka topic. Ensuring how does it work? Let's see. Let's see. When a producer sends a message, all right, it first contacts the schema registry through the REST API to register the schema if it's new. The producer then includes the schema ID in the message before sending it to the Kafka topic. Yeah, another property here. Blah, 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 blah. Confluent schema registry. All right, so what are they saying here? Where's my tablet? It's here. Let me enter my password. Now, let me go back to this. I think at one point we said that what Kafka is sending and what messages are just bytes. What happens is that we can have multiple producers and they can send data in different object types, like JSON or Avro or protobuf or whatever else. Now, consumers need to know how to interpret those bytes. So if one team changes the message format, like they rename a field, they add a new field, so all consumers can suddenly break, which makes perfect sense if you think about it. For example, give me this turquoise color. Let's say we have producer A. So producer A sends a data that consists of, I don't know, ID 42 and I'm gonna just say temp, like temperature 22.5. And let's say then the same producer later changes this message to be T underscore ID for thermostat ID. It uses the same ID. It now sends, I don't know, temperature 22.5 again, and U for unit, it's gonna be Celsius. Now, if we don't have any coordination, and if we already have a consumer here, which is, I don't know, an app on your computer, so if you already have a consumer here, this, why am I drawing this without any needlessly drawing this? Real consumers won't understand this new format. So what schema registries are is they are just a standalone service separate from Kafka brokers. So they keep a database of schemas for Kafka topics. And producers and consumers use the REST API to register and retrieve schemas. And internally it stores the state in a Kafka topic, as I think it has been said here somewhere, no idea where. So it stores it in a Kafka topic. So it inherits Kafka's durability and replication. And how it works, basically, can I create a new line? All right, so how it works is the following. So on the side of the producer, producer registers its schema with schema registry. And it assigns it ID. Okay, so it registers the schema, gets an ID, and then producer sends the message to Kafka with that schema ID attached. Gets an ID, so the ID is important. For example, now the consumer is doing the following thing. It reads the schema ID from the message, and then it asks if this guy sent the schema ID 17. The consumer asks the schema registry, what schema ID 17, what does it do? And then schema registry returns the schema definition. And consumer deserializes the bytes correctly. So this way, the consumer always knows how to interpret data, even if the schema has changed. And we can have compatibility. No, we should have compatibility, because we need to make sure that we have, right, oops, both old and we have new consumers. So we need to make sure that old consumers can handle new messages. We need to make sure that new consumers can read old messages, and we need to make sure that both directions work. I don't know why I drew this. So yeah, this is, do we have an example here of what manage schemas in Kafka with Avro? And this hands-on, okay, all right. So we're gonna set up something. Bam, bam. This is good. Alright, I also learned now the shortcut for hiding windows. I'm looking at some pics. I want to change my wallpaper. I mean, wait. GNOME. Where are my tweak tools? Ah, they're now called tweaks. Appearance. Amazing. Amazing. I wanted to do a more sci-fi slash cyberpunk wallpaper, but I love this. It's so simple. It's amazing. I mean, I can always find some cyberpunk wallpapers. On my own. Let me just make sure. Oh, this one actually is pretty nice. I'm gonna save it. Okay, how long am I on air? 1 hour 15 minutes. Nice. Nice. I'm gonna make I want to make it 1 hour 45 at least. So let's see if I can do this. Let me try to find a nice discussion. Okay. Okay, this may be interesting. This may be interesting. Wait, let me swipe it here. Let me increase it. So what is happening? I think that tomorrow, when was this posted? 2 days and 6 hours ago. So it already releases. What Frutiger Aero is I don't know, meme concept. It's an aesthetic actually. Basically, Frutiger. Let me Google it. So what Frutiger is where are you, brother? So it's a font that has been in use in a lot of branding in the 2000s. And Aero, or Aero, I don't know how to say, Frutiger Aero is Microsoft's Windows Aero design language, which was, I think, created for Windows Vista and Windows 7, if I'm not mistaken. It has this glassy. Wait, are there any images of this? It has this glassy, like glossy, bubbly UI. So it's a vibe. It's a design aesthetic where you have these reflections. You have this transparency. You have this nature imagery. You have these rounded buttons, skeuomorphic icons, and you have these sans serif fonts like Frutiger and Segway and Helvetica. And it's actually really nostalgic because it reminds people of early Windows Vista and Windows 7. I don't know when Windows 7 was released. When was Windows 7 released? 2009. 16 years, man. 16 years. Wow. Interesting. So, where's Frutiger area? This image is basically what represents this, in a sense. For me, this is extremely nostalgic. Extremely nostalgic. Interesting. Okay. So, what is going on here? Seems like Apple is releasing... What? Alright, Apple is releasing their new OS. And it looks similar to this aesthetic that was once pretty rampant in the early 2010s, late 2000s. It's a zero resemblance to Aereo, unless you're an NPC with no subjective experience. All you know is transparent Aereo. You can't actually see that the design is totally different, or you can experience the highly abstracted keywords that your image processing front end feeds you to play with the language model. What? It's like when our words were calling anything with palm trees and marble statues vaporware. Yeah. Tahoe, why does Apple keep naming their products after garbage places in California? There are a lot of cat names. Alright. Are there any images here? Are there any images here? They literally shit on streets in I don't care about this. Are there any images, brother, here? Oh, 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 oh. Liquid ass. This is an amazing screenshot. This is great. Holy shit, my home screen is so damn ugly now. LOL, there's a border on every single icon. What the F? What the fuck were they thinking? Fuck Zoomer. Why 2K fake nostalgia? This shit looks like ass. Screenshot, let's see it. I mean, if you want to bank on nostalgia, then go all the way to nostalgia, man. Because you're just half-assing it here. It does look ugly. Having such a bloated device. Okay, it does look ugly. It does look ugly. How do I get rid of all my windows having 1 pixel white borders? What else is there? Every window has a different corner radius. What? Haha, you must be joking. You must be kidding me. Why would they do this? Of course, this is totally inexcusable from Apple, the company that prides itself on good design and consistency. How was this allowed to happen? What was wrong with the old radius anyway? Wait, these are all different windows and all of them... Sorry, okay, this is funny, but I don't want to laugh. Are people complaining just for the sake of complaining, or what is this shit border around icons? It looks like 3D party crap gnome team. Where is the fruiter? Where is the Aereo? Where is the scumorphism? I was promised leopard and I get this. Thanks, Tim, I'm crying right now. Oh, it looks ugly. It looks really ugly, man. I hope the design team gets fired. Sequoia was so good compared to this. Reduced transparency is also shit. What the F is this pickerel? Is this real? Is this real? Is this a real screenshot? This can't be real, man. Is this real? Ah, it depends on the background. It's really ugly. It's really ugly. What the hell? This should have never made it out of testing phase, by the way. I agree. This is basic contrast and usability testing. These F-words thought they one-shot and never reviewed use cases. This is really ugly. All right, where have we stopped? Let's continue. I'm 1 hour 26 minutes in. Great success. Let's do this just a second. Okay, I just wanted to make sure everything is connected. Is my mic still on? Please tell me my mic. Yeah, my mic is still on. My mic is still on. Manage schemas in Kafka with Tavro. So in this hands-on exercise, we are going to set up. Wait. In this hands-on exercise, we are going to set up a source connector in Apache Kafka using Avro to write and serialize data and leverage a schema registry to manage our schemas. Okay. The good news is that a schema registry is automatically provisioned in each Confluent Cloud environment. We need just to create an API key and secret to use it via the Confluent CLI or from within a streaming application. Go to your Confluent Cloud home, select the environments icons on the left and choose your environment. Where are you? Confluent Cloud. So I'm going to environments and choosing my environment, which is my default environment. And then let me just show you. Clicking on the schema registry menu. And the schema registry menu is right here. Schema registry menu. Click the API keys link on the right hand side. Add API key, store this API key and secret for later use. So I'm gonna hide this. I don't want you to see my API keys. Then navigate to cluster overview page, click on connectors. If you have no connectors, you'll be taken directly to the connector search page. Pick the orders and then additional configuration. All right, so this just sets up. Okay, so this is how the schema looks like. And this is how it's deserialized. You know what? I'm done with Kafka. I think this was a good introduction to it. I liked it, but let me just relax a bit. Let me see what's new in Hacker News. How to make the framework desktop run even quieter. Things you can do with the software. Well, let me sort them by thumbs ups. Hosting a website on a disposable web. Is this a joke? This can't be real. This article is not served from a web server running on a disposable web. If you want to see that the real deal, click here. The content is otherwise identical. What? For a couple of years now, I have been collecting disposable vapes from friends and family. Initially, I only salvaged the batteries for future projects. It's not hoarding. What the hell is a disposable vape? Is this some Gen Z shit? It's the most... Oh, these things. Alright. I've been collecting disposable vapes from friends and family. Initially, I only salvaged the batteries for future projects. But recently, disposable vapes have gotten more advanced. I wouldn't want to be the lawyer who one day will have to argue how a device with USB-C and rechargeable battery can be disposable, can be classified as... Yeah, that's actually what got me confused. Thankfully, I don't plan on pursuing law anytime soon. Last year, I was tearing apart some of these fancier pacifiers for adults when I noticed something that caught my eye. Instead of the expected black blob of the goo hitting some ASIC circuit, I see a little integrated circuit inscribed PUYA. They are mostly well known for their flash chips, but I first came across them after reading Jerry Carlson's blog about the cheapest flash microcontrollers you can buy. They are quite capable little ARM Cortex M0 micros. Over the past year, I have collected quite a few of these vapes, all of them from different models of vape from the same manufacturer. Alright, so I won't mention it. What are we working with? So we have a chip. It's marked with this ID. And we have 3K of RAM. Oh. So here are the specs of a microcontroller. So bad it's basically disposable. 24 megahertz. 24 kilobytes of flash storage, 3 kilobytes of static RAM. Okay. So you might look at these specs and think that's not much to work with, and I don't blame you. A 10-year-old phone can barely load Google, and this is about 100 times slower. I, on the other hand, see a blazingly fast web server. Okay. If you don't feel like reading that article, semi-hosting is basically syscalls for embedded ARM microcontrollers to throw. If you are older than me, you might remember a time before Wi-Fi and Ethernet, dark ages, when you had to use dial-up modems to get online. You might also know that the ghosts of these modems still linger all around us. Almost all USB serial devices actually emulate those modems. A 56K modem is just a serial device between some. Alright? I don't understand any of this, to be honest. How fast is a web server running on a disposable microcontroller? Oh man, this is I don't understand any of this, so I don't want to. Okay, what else can I do? Oh, this seems interesting. This seems interesting. Wait, let me move this out of the way. Teach me something useful you know. Friend, this is a cool image. I know a lot of math, like a lot. I went to the best mathematical research college in my country. I don't know if you would like it. Math is really useful. I would like to know more math. Futa is not gay. What even is futa? Should I wait? I won't Google it here. I will Google it on my other window. Futa. I got the Federal Unemployment Tax Act. Okay. Watch your thoughts. They become words. Watch your words. They become actions. Watch your actions. They become habits. Watch your habits. They become character. And watch your character becomes your destiny. Lao Tzu. Not a real Lao Tzu quote. What's this? Your thoughts and actions are differentiated in your brain to such an extent that the normal functioning of your existence is inventing reasons for why you took an action. What? Your thoughts and your actions are differentiated. In your brain to such an extent that the normal functioning of your existence is inventing reasons for why you took an action after the fact. What? I don't understand this. Am I a smooth brain? I think I am. Quite a smooth brain. What else? Never lying feels good. This is true. I like even when I'm applying for jobs or when I'm working in my company, I would rather say that I don't know something or I didn't spend a day. I didn't spend a lot of work on a feature instead of lying. It feels lying as a kid felt like a little rush, but as adults, speaking literal untruths feels bad. Obfuscation is slightly bothersome. I don't know if this is because my nervous system knows blatant lies are more likely to be caught or because I feel bad about lying blatantly. Yeah, this is basically it. Either way, I guess the result is the same. I apply lying very little day to day. What else? What's the best way to start with math again? I'm a web shitter and haven't done any for a very, very long time, but I want to start again to keep my brain fresh. Yeah. Learn stats. A good book on algebra, basic mathematics. Take a look at the following book. Let me take a look at some of these books. Okay, stats. Okay, this seems relatively simple. I mean, not simple in a sense. There's an app on F-Droid called OpenTune that lets you. All right, I don't want to. Okay. That's it. That's it. I'm gonna end this stream here. At one point, I actually had a lot of people watching. I think I had 5 people watching, so thank you. I don't know. And how much am I been? 1 hour 45 minutes. Yeah, baby. So thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video as well. Oops.